What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to be talking about why VEVE brand reputation is critical for their long-term success. But before we do this, if you enjoyed this video then please consider dropping a like and subscribing if you're new around here. So I just want to wish everyone quickly a good luck with the most recent launch that's happening today at 8 AM PST. I'm personally going to be going for the ultra rare. I'm going to be trying to get the ultra rare and the rare. But I just want to say good luck. I hope everything goes well for everybody and then getting the application. And yeah, we'll be talking in tomorrow's video about how the launch went, the numbers, the breakdown, my thoughts and feelings. So be sure to look out for that one. So the first point I want to make here within this sort of overall scope and picture I'm going to paint for you within this video is my personal perception on why their brand reputation is so important moving forward within sort of facilitating their overall dream, in my opinion, of being the marketplace or the go-to marketplace for NFTs in all categories. So the first thing I want to touch upon here is brand confidence, and that sort of breaks into customers want to be heard and appreciated, that transparency through communication. Now, we see this a lot within what VEVE already do, within sort of their Akomi updates where they have those lives on YouTube and those, like the conversation had on Clubhouse and sort of doing interviews with it, within the community on other people's YouTube channels. You know, you see VEVE are very, very transparent through their communication. Now, it's extremely important when we look at brand confidence and the overall vision and perception of VEVE long term. If you could imagine when they go on to release products or releases licenses and they haven't communicated their vision, their ideas, their sort of roadmap about where they want to go and how they're going to essentially execute this vision and plan behind VEVE, you can understand why people would lose confidence in the brand. If you don't understand what they're trying to achieve and the vision they're trying to sort of partake within, how are you ever expected to be able to create brand confidence and sort of, in some ways, almost brand loyalty? We touched upon that point in a minute. But one of the key aspects about creating confidence is that sort of transparency through communication. And the other part I want to talk about here is their consistency in their user experience. Now, I know the general consensus outside or from external or internal investors within the OMI token is that they wanted a larger brand, which sort of confuses me because Batman is a humongous brand. But obviously, I understand with us already seeing the Black and White series, potentially why people might be frustrated. But I personally wasn't. But the point behind what I'm trying to say here is that when you deliver a product in the way that VEVE are doing, they need to be consistent with their user experience. And that comes down to delivery of product, quality of product, and performance of application. Now, if we introduce a bigger juggernaut brand into this space too early on, so if we especially where we are right now with how quickly the user base has grown to sort of nearly 300,000 users as of the interview I watched last night. I'll link it in the description below there, sort of conversation on Clubhouse. You know, if they release one of these bigger brands now in the form of, I don't know, let's say drop Jurassic Park, what you're going to find is that 300,000 users has the potential to sort of grow into 600,000, 800,000, 1 million users very quickly because of the reach that VEVE already have and the scope they already have and the outside audience that'd be interested in, say, a Jurassic Park launch. Now, the reason I say this could damage brand confidence long term is that if they aren't consistent with their user experience and can't deliver the products in a professional way, which at the moment they're definitely getting significantly better with day by day, but you've got to understand we've only just come out of beta, and even in the interview, Dan touches upon us still being within beta. You know, this is still a beta application, so they need to make sure they can deliver the product effectively and professionally, that the quality of product is continually rising, which we're already seeing within the detail of the NFTs, the animated style of the NFTs, but also the performance of the application within launches, that it doesn't just crash on users and create that negative brand experience and brand confidence. We need that to be consistent so that people have this reliable sort of almost mundane experience when coming into it. It's just that consistent, the way the product's delivered, the way the application performs, the quality of the product delivery. You know, this needs to be so consistent within the new user experience, so those people can translate and create more brand confidence within VEVE. Now, this is why I believe it's so critical for their success long term. If they do not execute this correctly, you're going to find that people have a negative user experience, which is going to have a bad brand confidence, leading to, in the last point I'm going to touch upon, which is brand referral, essentially not telling people about the brand and talking about VEVE and that word of mouth experience that happens long term. But I'll be touched upon that in a second. So I hope you can understand here why brand confidence is so critical and so important when referencing where VEVE are and where they want to go. The next point I want to touch upon is brand loyalty. You know, they need to understanding their customers' buying behaviors and aligning what they care about. This is extremely important. You know, if you look at VEVE as a collectible platform right now and potentially outreach into these other areas of NFTs in the future as they become this sort of monopoly play within NFTs, we need to understand they need to understand their customers' buying behaviors, and having these big licenses is going to give them that internal scope anyway. And they touched upon this within the interview, which I've just most recently found, was how they navigate within what additions they make in terms of common, rare, and ultra rare, how they make those buying decisions or make those decisions for the rarities based around sort of data they got from DC within the specific launch. You need to go through and watch the interview to create more clarity within that. But my point behind it is that they have an understanding of what their customer buying behaviors are, which is extremely important for long-term loyalty within VEVE. They need to know how and what and how people want the product, which is obviously in the form of NFTs, how to deliver the product, which is through the marketplace in a seamless way. I mean, understanding essentially what the buyer wants and aligning with that, so that when they deliver these NFTs to new users, when new users come into the application, that they understand what it is that they want as a collector and able to deliver that and align with what they care about, so they're able to create that brand loyalty long term. Extremely important when we look at VEVE. Now, if you consider them potentially launching like a Jurassic Park or whatever, this newer brand, and I've spoken about this in previous videos. The implications now of incorporating a new brand and that kind of viral effect it could have because of the current user base. If they haven't got this alignment in correctly, you could find that this brand loyalty doesn't translate. And as an investor of OMI and an investor of VEVE, you know, we want this to sort of correlate long term. You know, we need to understand that that's what's happening here. You know, OMI is a utility token. It's not the main focus point of this vision. The brand of VEVE is a focus point in this vision. If you haven't caught onto this yet, it's extremely important that you do. And I know the wider community do understand this, but you know, VEVE is the focus point. All you have to do is go onto Akomi and go onto VEVE's page to see where their focus point is. Just listen to the way the owners talk about their vision behind VEVE and where they want it to be. They are focusing on this product that they're delivering. It's a completely different style of company within this cryptocurrency space or within NFTs. It's very important to understand you're investing in a company and the brand they're trying to create within VEVE. Extremely important. The next point we'll touch upon is create an emotional connection that turns customers into dedicated fans. You know, we're lucky in this sense. They have all these, well, I say look is an interesting blanket term. I mean, they've obviously worked hard to attain these licenses and present this vision in an effective way. But my point behind it is, as an investor of VEVE, they need to create that emotional connection, and having these over 100 different brands in the form of DC, in the form of introducing companies like Jurassic Park. We've got Harley Quinn, we've got Adventure Time, Cartoon Network. You know, we already have the dedicated fans there. The fans are already there. It's just VEVE needs to create the brand loyalty through effective product delivery and effective brand reputation to be able to translate those external customers into internal buyers of VEVE or of their NFTs. Now, it's extremely important that they create that emotional connection and that bridge between what people already love externally through DC or through these other brands, and bring them into VEVE to create that loyalty long term. If they aren't able to establish that connection through the delivery of product, through the quality of product, through the brand reputation of VEVE, through the image and the visual representation, that that invisible energy you see within a brand where people get excited about it. You see it a lot within larger brands, that kind of, it's the things you see happening between the lines when they correlate all these points together that I'm making here. You can understand why it's important for them to maintain that reputation and that sort of emotional connection with their newfound customer base. And I believe that's why we're not seeing them introduce too many new brands straight away as they continue to create the infrastructure and the delivery of product. Extremely important long term. And the next thing we'll do is customer loyalty. This is a little bit different. The two coincide, but brand loyalty and customer loyalty are a little bit different. But I just wanted to touch upon this quickly. Through reward programs like incentivizing customers to come back, and through their master collectors program. Within the interview, Dan touched upon this idea of giving people sort of points, for example, when if you're loyal to VEVE and you collect more collectibles within the VEVE application, that you're rewarded with specific aspects and specific incentivifications. Now, this is extremely important to remember, is that to create brand loyalty and customer loyalty, you need to incentivize and give people a reason to stay and come back. You know, when you have a base of very passionate and loyal fans within a within a brand like VEVE are doing here, you need to be able to keep people around long term. This is why you see big brands creating reward systems. This is why you see in supermarkets they have reward programs for people that come back, or you see something like Morrison's, Asda, or this is within the UK, but you see this within big supermarket chains creating coupons and discounts. It's not about necessarily giving the customer a discount, which is obviously a part of what they're doing, but it's incentivizing customers to come back, creating customer loyalty within the brand itself. Very important to remember when you consider what VEVE are doing here within the Master Collector program, and when we understand why their brand reputation and the image of VEVE long term is so critical and so important for their long term survival within this NFT space and this overall vision they're trying to paint. And then what I'm going to touch upon here is brand referral. Now, I've taken some of this data from an offline source to give you an idea about how important this actually is. You see, creating marketing campaigns is one thing. With this PR firm they've done, which is going to be an incredible way to outreach into new untapped audiences, to bring them into this VEVE, this brand, this vision, and then create that loyalty, that delivery of products. And you can see how that external becomes internal. But one thing that's really big is brand referrals. Is once you gain a new customer, and bring them into the platform and deliver these other elements I've spoken about in terms of brand confidence and brand loyalty, is actually that person going on to tell their friends and family, to tell and to sort of express through social media their excitement, their happiness within what they've received from the company through VEVE. This is extremely important, and you can see here a word of mouth impression drives at least 5 times more sales than a paid impression. Very critical to remember when you hear somebody talk about a brand positively. The resistance to somebody wanting to get involved as well is significantly lower, because they know that person, they trust the person, and they trust their opinion about the brand. And that ultimately creates brand referral. Very, very powerful way of marketing. If you grasp your head around this concept, extremely powerful way of marketing a brand. But if you don't have the other two elements in place, then the reality is these pillars don't coincide very well with one another. So then you've got customers acquired for a word of mouth spread. So I said 2 times more, 2 times as many referrals themselves. Sorry, let me read that out again. Customers acquired through word of mouth spend 2 times more and make 2 times as many referrals themselves. So the idea is you see this ripple effect happening. You can imagine, and referencing VEVE, as they continue to develop the platform and deliver this high quality product and increase brand reputation, and then those new users through this PR firm and this outreach come into the VEVE application, and then that customer experience that's been built leads into them telling their friends, and then makes 2 times as many referrals as those users then going on to tell other users. You can see how this ripple effect can happen, this like referral chain. And very important when we look at this at long term, but it all happens when the other 2 pillars coincide with one another. So I hope that's making sense, and it's sitting with you well as I present this to you. We've also got referred leads convert 30% better. Now, I know a lot of these points I'm making are based on sort of conversion of application, but it's important for us to remember as we look at the long-term scope of VEVE as investors of VEVE, it's important that this happens, that the resistance to NFT and the bar towards NFTs becomes more well understood, so that people invest into it with a more open mind, and they don't question what they're actually buying into anymore. You know, that that barrier to entry reduces through this referral, through people enjoying it. That's why we're seeing this within sort of community-driven events like the artist event we saw. It's very important to remember this is a community-driven brand, it's a community-driven feel. And when you do this effectively through the other pillars of what we spoke about previously, it can be extremely powerful when building brands long term. And then we've got half Americans would pick word of mouth if they could only select one source of information for on potential purchases. The point behind this is it doesn't matter how much you advertise, you know, even though obviously having external outreach is important. But if you want to create this ripple effect, you know, Americans or people would prefer to pick word of mouth over any referral. You know, and I know in a digital age, it's hard to almost see how this would still be effective, but it still happens today. That ripple effect of talking to people and letting people know about your opinions and your thoughts and feelings behind what a brand is doing and how well they're doing it. You know, very important when we think about this in referencing VEVE. So, you know, that's my end of my video here and why I believe that brand reputation is so critical right now, and for all of us to keep in mind what's going on here as we allow VEVE to grow into their position and grow into their overall vision of becoming this sort of blanket marketplace for NFTs as a whole. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've learned something from this, if you have, then consider dropping a like, subscribing if you're new around here. Thank you for joining me on this video, and yeah, I'll be sure to see you in the next one. Thank you and goodbye.